Hey everybody, back again here. This time I'm going to kind of go over a little bit of MySQL and how to connect to it. There's other databases that you can connect to. In this tutorial, it's not going to be mostly in the code. It's going to actually be showing you through MySQL Workbench here because I don't want to actually show you the access to my server or make a special account for it to show you how to run it and do all these different queries. But I will show you how to connect to a server and what details that you need to be wary of. To start it off, we're going to start off with our basic 16 here. And I'm going to show you the old way, which before I believe 5.2 is when they changed this over. It's now being deprecated. I'm going to show you that way, and then the new way of doing it with MySQL. There's another way called PDO. I don't actually use that in general. It's not one of my major functions. They started actually building onto that in 5.5. They thought they were going to get rid of it at one point. But I want to actually show you how to get connected first. So we're going to start there. So starting off with our PHP, we're going to go here. To start off with your connection, you need to define what you want to connect to. So in this case, I'm going to name con our variable. It's the variable that you're going to use for whenever you establish a connection, and if you need to close that connection, you're going to use another command to close that. Con. It's going to be equal to MySQL, and this is, remember, this is the old way, before 5.2. Now there's a new way, and I'm going to show you that really quickly too. MySQL connect. Now, as you see, I have this long string just pop up on my screen. It's asking for, let me just make sure I have those in the right order. It's asking for your host. What servers they're going to be connecting to is what it's asking for. The username, and if it requires a password, what is the password for it? Those are the three things that it's asking for here. So, if the SQL server is located on the same server that you're running the PHP off of, usually you'll just use localhost. For those that might use GoDaddy, I think 1&1 does the same thing along with DreamHost. What they'll say is they'll give you all your information to your database, and it'll be like this big long URL, and it'll be like ms.dreamhost.com, and then that'll actually be your server. That's telling you how you connect to it. Another thing that you need to know about servers is right now I have localhost in here. Some servers actually change their port. The default port is 3306. If the port's been changed, you have to set the semi-dot over here, 3307. Say if that is the new port. That's how you change the port in case it's changed on you. Another thing is if it's on the same server, usually the server already has that already programmed in, and you don't have to worry about that. But just sit back and I hope you guys know what that does. Now, the next thing you're going to ask for is your username. Usernames can be, if you run your own server and you want to use root, you can. Security risk. Never use that if possible. You want to use something that's only dedicated to that database or to those sets of databases, because if you give out your root, they have access to everything. Oh, they know that password? Well, they know how to get into your WHM, they know how to get into your cPanel, they know how to get into any type of control panel that you have usually, unless you dedicate SQLs over here and your control panels over here, but you can still have them access all the database. That's not a good sign. So you'll use a username. I'm just going to play the guessing name is GMSRIPT Garrett. Say that was my username. And then you'll have your password. Now, the password can be anything. It can be a random, @ or, just... passwords can be really random. It doesn't really matter. Harder the password, the better it is. Unless you somehow made your code where it displays your password, you might want to get that fixed. But in this case, you shouldn't have it displayed. And then you do that and you close it. Well, that makes your MySQL connection. Now, for those, some people, they only dedicate one username to one database. Now, if you want to specify that database, you can go right here and go MySQL select DB. Doop. Now, it's going to say, what is your database name? Well, say if my database was, since I use cPanel and stuff, usually your database are listed after the first part of my name. So, say it's GM Scripts. It's going to be GM Scripts and data. Boom. Okay, I got my database. Now, if you want to define a link identifier, you can, and you can go con. So you can say, oh yeah, this MySQL database select is connected to con. You don't have to. You can actually just go boop, 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 and do that. It doesn't really matter in this case. I haven't found a real usage to it, and I usually don't actually use MySQL select database. Reason for that, the main cause for that is I actually have one username that might connect to 3. Might sort out the database, and then you might have another connection over here that does another database. It just depends on how you do it. I just have multiple access to a couple of databases sometimes. Just an idea to keep in. Now, please be aware this is deprecated, so I'm going to set a comment up here. Deprecated. They are getting rid of that. but it's not that much different. To be honest, it's really not. You can go con again. We're just going to say con 2. Con new. How about that? Con new MySQL I. And the reason why I'm using con is because connection. MySQL I. It's a new way of connecting to your database. Same thing for connecting MySQL, but it's secure. Much more secure. And you just type that. So basically all I did is in the command. This one had MySQL. This one has MySQL I. Only difference. And if I do this, I get the same things. I get hostname, I get the server, I get the username, I get the password, and there's actually a couple other things. Ports are separate on this one. That's the main difference between the two. So if I went localhost, comma, let's go GM scripts, Garrett. And I'm not worried about my typing. This is not connecting to a database. I'll show you how to do some SQL queries. Not really PHP related, but it's so you know how they work. You don't connect. Okay, no, I need a password. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. And then there. So this isn't required, but you can add it. So say if your port is actually changed, you have to do it this way. Now in the other way, you can set it right after in the host name or the server you're connected to. In MySQL I, it's actually separate. So please be aware of that. And then I'm not going to actually leave that there, but it is separate. That's how you set your port if it's a different port. And the host is the server name is the same thing. So say if it was the mys something.dreamhost.com, well, put that right into the localhost instead of localhost. Localhost just means the local machine. It's on any machine generally. Should be. And okay. And then say if you want to select a database again, MySQL select DB. Boom. And like this, it says, okay, well, what is the link? So this time they flipped it. Before it was select the database, set the link. This time for MySQL it is what's the link? Select the database. So I'm gonna go con _ new, and I'm gonna set the database. GM scripts data. Those are the two ways of connecting. This is the newer way. New and secure. It's much secure, much better in security wise. So those are those two. The next thing to do is how do you run commands. I'm not going to be actually running the commands in the PHP. I just want to show you how to do this. What I'm going to actually do here is I'm going to take out my PHP tags. So the reason why my PHP tags are there is so I can show you that. I'll take them out at the ending here. We're going to set PRE. I just want to show you how it highlights in my Dreamweaver so you can kind of see the difference between each section I hit. So that's the only reason why the PHP tags are. This is not going to be a running page, but it will be an example page that you can actually download and view the source on. So what happens if you want to connect to something? Well, there's two ways. If I go up to deprecated, this is its old way of doing it. Run query. Now, when you run queries, you have to have permissions. You have to have permission to select. You have to have permission to create, alter, update, insert, all those functions depending on what the select is. Now, you might only have select, so all you can do is pull data. And I'll get into more details on that. So, what happens if I wanted to run a query? MySQL query. Boom. Now, let me pop this back up here. Now, I can use a link identifier. The link identifier will allow me to resource, okay, it didn't insert. What is the data from that? That's what you can do from that. But I'm not going to be worrying about that in this case because this is MySQL. You don't want to use this anymore unless you have a really old PHP system. And, okay. So now if you want to run a command. So we already have our database selected. We're in GM scripts data. So we want to run a select on that data. Type in our query. Now I'll break down the query a little bit better, but I just want to kind of show you the gist of it. The query goes, okay, what do you want to do? I want to select. Now, what data do I want from that select? So I'm going to do star. Star means everything. So all the rows in that table. And we're going to select from. Now I need a name of the table. The name of the table, we're going to go users. And do I want to specify the search even farther? I can actually specify it down by going select blank from user. So select all from users where user go backslash user underline ID, and that's going to say one of our column names here, equals 2. And then I can set a limit. How many results I get? 50. Now I should only get 1, but I can have up to 50 results. That's all I'm doing in that query. And in MySQL I'm just actually copy this SQL string here. I'll go into details on that. Run query, MySQL query, Alright, whoops, I typed that wrong. MySQL I query. So this is the new way that you can do it with MySQL. Doop. Now I have the link, add the query. Now, what's my link? My link is con new. And then I need my query. So I can just go paste. That's all the main differences between the two. Just to kind of give you a rundown of that. Now, I said I'm not actually going to SQL, so I'm not actually going to go into SQL. It's actually going to be done on my MySQL workbench. I have a random local server that I have here, and I'm going to show you how to go through the details. So I'm going to pull that over here. Oop. Now, I have a blank query. Now, this program is actually pretty nice. It actually auto jumps through things for me and does it instantly. It's awesome. But say if I just wanted to pull whatever data is in a certain column, or a certain table. So I have my schema, which is right here. This is the main database, your database name, okay? Schema database, same thing pretty much. It might change a little bit depending if you're using MySQL or Oracle or any of that sort, but schema. Schema will be generic across all. So I have my schema. It's going to be yarn hugger is what I have here. Now from there I have tables underneath that database. Those tables contain data in it. Each table has columns in it. If I just select one of these, you see right down here, this table, avatar layer tabs, actually has two columns in it. One's called tab ID, the other one's called tab name. You don't have to actually use MySQL Workbench to find all this stuff. You can have PHP MyAdmin, or you can go through the command line. All up to you. I just find this a little bit easier when I want to explain this to you guys. And then if I click categories, it doesn't have the same columns. It has ID, it has class, it has name, description, and staff. So what if I want to see what data is in this? So I'm not going to write the SQL string at the moment. Okay, I'm just going to actually just pull the data out. So I'm going to go select. Boop. This allows me to select the data. Now I have data in here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pieces of data. So now how did I do that? That was from that SQL query string I did. Select all from yarn hugger. So in this case, it's name in the database. You don't actually have to have that. You can go like this. Oop. Let me go space here. I accidentally deleted space. If I click that again, boom, I'll get the same data. Specifying the data, the database is nice, especially if you don't select the database, and then it knows where it's going. If you don't select the database, you need to set that database thing there, but we're not worried about that. So select blank from categories. So I'm selecting categories from this table. Now, I have that selected. Now, what happens if I want to limit that? If I want to limit it, I can go limit. I only want 2 results back. How much data do I want back? Boom. Yeah, 2 results back. Now, what happens if I want to alter one of those pieces of data? Now, in this program, I can go right here and just type in there, select out of it, and click apply. It'll update it. It'll actually make the query string. I'm not done doing it at the moment, but see right here, it'll make the query string for me, tell me what I changed. Now, what happens if you want to make that query string, or you want to be able to access that or change that? Now, I can do select many different ways. I don't have to actually limit this. I can go like this. I can go, I want my select to select all from categories where ID is going to be equal to 3. Now, I didn't set a limit here, so I should only get 1 result back, right? Yeah, because I'm specifying the ID. Now, if there's 2 things with the ID of 3, then it'll pull back 2 results for it. Now, I've been keep on saying all here where this asterisk is, because it is selecting all. That is the selection of the column names. I have to always have at least 1 selection in there. I don't have to have them all. I just do them all because I'm just trying to show you. I can actually only have 1 display. I can go right here and type ID. Boop. Boom. All I got is my ID back. That's all you're changing in this select right here. Now, what happens if I don't want ID to be shown as ID? Well, we can go as, and then you can change the name. You can go, okay, I want ID as reference. And then I want to display another column. Another column in this case out of that table. Well, what is another column in that table? Name. Name. Doop. Boom. Run. Boom. I got my reference and I got my name. I changed ID to reference. You can do this in any type of SQL. Right now I'm just using select. Now what happens if I want to update that? So I did a select. I got this information. Now what happens if I want to be able to update that information? So we can go right here and let's run an update command. We're going to go, I'm going to type this all out for you. Update. Now we need in categories, so the table, where set. Okay, now we need to know what we want to set. What do we want to set? In this case, I want to change the name. So we're going to go name is equal to house. Now, it's not a community anymore, it's my house. And then if I run this like how it is right now, it'll update every row. I don't want that. I wanted to specify what I wanted to update. So we're going to go where. In this case, this is when IDs come into play. IDs should only be used once. And if they're your identifier, then they should be auto-incremented, a primary key, and unique. They can't be duplicated. That'll save you a lot of time on trying to reference something real quickly. Some codes that you see if you go to websites, you'll notice that they have this little ID. That ID might be referencing exactly to that table, so they know what they need to change because there's nothing the same with that ID. Now that's dependent. Some people hide it. Some people make hash keys. It's all different. Now I just want to show you how to pull it. So I want to update. I want to set the community to be named house where ID. I don't use reference because reference isn't actually the column name. I just renamed it as reference. My column name is actually ID. And you can see that over here on my left. This is a nice little view that it gives me all my columns. ID is equal to 3. Now if I run this right now, I have 2 queries in here. Let me end that with semicolon. The reason why that's ended with semicolon is kind of like PHP. You end your command with semicolon. In this case, I end my statement, my SQL statement, with a semicolon. That allows me to do multiple SQL statements at a time. Now from doing that, I can update. So boom, I updated, but it didn't show it because my update is after my select. I can actually remove this. So I copy that. Fresh. Boom. I got house. As you see, this thing keeps on refreshing back. It's going off a memory reference, and it's not correct after the time until it loads. And I got house now. That's because my update was afterwards. So whenever you do select statements and you're updating information like creating a user and all that information, I'll go into more detail on that in the next tutorial. But when you're doing all that, when you do update commands, you want to make sure you have your updates commands at the highest level of your code because you're going to update and then you want to display it properly or most likely in general. So you're going to update it and then select. And that's how that goes. I'm going to actually set both of these codes right here onto the page. I'll set some notes on them before I finalize this for you guys. If you guys have any questions or I went a little bit too quickly on this or some of the things are a little bit jumpy, please give me some feedback down in a comment or message me. If you like it, click like. If you don't like it, feel free to dislike. I'm not bothered by it. I'd just like to know what's wrong with it or what you found an issue with. And hope to see you guys on the next video and the videos after. Thank you very much. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a comment or like below. If you want to keep up with all activities on the channel, click subscribe. And if you would like to watch another video, there's some videos listed down below here. And thanks for watching.